This is why I hate support players, guys.
Support players are some of the worst players to play Marvel Rivals.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what y'all talking about when y'all say, oh, I'm done playing support, y'all can find your own healer, and this whole strategy strike thing. Y'all been trashed. Like, y'all been trashed.
I hate support players. They're just morons. They're idiots, and I hate them.
I'm sure you're all familiar with the support strike in Marvel Rivals. And if you have not heard about it, how? Literally everywhere. And I could sit here all day trying to tell you guys, you know what? Support is actually harder than you think. You guys are gonna sit here and be like, no, it's not. So what a better way to try to convince you guys that support is harder than you think than to just show you all of the reasons why. I have spent the last 24 hours playing support in the middle of a support strike, which has quite literally fried my brain to the max, but I digress. There are a few broad reasons as to why support is so miserable right now. The first broad reason is that no one defends us. Now, this is broken down into a few different parts. The first part is when someone dives us, the game becomes extremely miserable. And this is almost every single game because dive characters right now are insane. There are not that many ways to defend yourself as a support player. Obviously, you don't do that much damage to the enemy, and certain characters can't even heal themselves. So if someone's chasing me, if someone's diving me, and no one's helping me, then I'm just dead. Not only is it hard to defend ourselves when people are diving us, but it's also hard to defend ourselves when we ult, because as soon as we ult, usually Magneto tries to ult us or some other DPS player tries to kill us in our ult. And that is something that you don't have to worry about as a DPS player. I am getting solo ulted. I am getting jumped in the back line. No one is killing the people that are killing us, but then they will say, where are the heals at? With no protection from my teammates and not really that many ways to defend myself, tell me why on God's green earth would anyone want to play this role? Which leads me into my next broad point. People are so much harder on support players than they are on any other role. I could stay right in the middle of my team and I will still get jumped, just like I did right here. And this happens every single game because the quickest way to win is just to kill the supports. Right after I got jumped by the Captain America right in front of my Wolverine says, heals? And he is 2 and 3, which is not very good. And of course, I'm getting blamed because he's not getting healed, even though I just got jumped by the Captain America. He got a front row seat to see what just happened to me, and yet he is still blaming me. Supports get blamed the most in this game out of any other role because everyone else thinks that playing support is so easy, yet they don't want to play it themselves but feel so comfortable blaming everything on their supports. Another example of people holding supports to a much higher standard than others is the fact that if you mess up your ult as a support player, you are getting blamed and you are getting yelled at. So right here, I ulted and then our Loki decided to ult right after, even though we didn't need it, which led to my teammate saying this, of course.
What did you ult for in this?
And to be honest, I have never heard anyone yell at a DPS player if they use their ult wrong. I have seen tanks, I have seen DPS players completely miss their ults or get no kills with their ults, yet no one says a thing, but they expect support players to be perfect 100% of the time. I don't expect my DPS players to be perfect, yet they expect me to be perfect, which is ridiculous because we're all humans and we all make mistakes. And here's another example of my DPS players expecting me to be God or something. I had a bad position, I had to get out, and this is what he says.
Holy fuck, I'm killing everyone, just keep me alive!
I am currently 15 HP. I can't heal myself, and if I use my ult, I'm gonna get yelled at. And it's crazy because this guy doesn't even realize that his positioning was horrible. I mean, look at where you are. The squirrel girl is shooting right into there, and obviously you're gonna die. And this guy is doing good on Hawkeye, but Hawkeye is an easy character to play. He one-shots people. I'm like, bro, did you see my HP? I was literally 15 HP. And I'd also like to add on the fact that people think that DPS is much harder than support. They also say that you don't have to aim when you play support. Every role in this game is not difficult, but the hitboxes that these dive characters have is absolutely insane. Everyone says that support requires no aim, which is not true whatsoever. The only person who has auto aim is Cloak and Dagger. Contrary to popular belief, you actually do have to aim when you play support. The hitbox is very small compared to a lot of duelists, and I would argue that it actually requires more aim than duelists. No one realizes how much support players actually have to focus on, which brings me into my next point. Support has to focus on the most in the entire game. I'm gonna list off everything I have to focus on 24/7 as a support player. So we've got the basic things like my positioning and how much health I have. I also have to worry about everyone else's positioning and how much health everyone else has. Of course, I'm keeping track of everyone else's ult on the other team to see when the best time to use my ult is. At the same time, I have to worry about getting jumped in the back line because because obviously I'm getting dove every single game. I'm worrying about damaging and also healing at the same time, and also worrying about protecting myself, then worrying about ulting and making sure that Magneto doesn't kill me with his ult. I have played DPS and I have played tank, and I will say that support you have to worry about the most out of every other role. And I will say that every single role has their trash people in it, but as someone who's not trash at support, there's a lot more to think about than you may think, because as a DPS player, all you have to do is focus on getting damage and not dying, because we all know that DPS players never turn around and help their supports out, so you don't have to worry about that. With all jokes aside, my next point is that the game is only fun if your team is bullying the other supports, because think about it, the game goes one of two ways. Either your team is killing the supports on the other team, or the other team is killing your supports. The only way either team stays alive is if the supports are alive to heal them, which then it turns into this awful battle of who can turn around and help the supports better, which I'm sure you could agree it makes the game completely miserable for support players. And I think a lot of these support players are going on this support strike because other roles are just so much more fun. Support players are the entire focus of the game, and as a support player, it really does suck not being able to even have fun at the role that you enjoy, because you win the game so easily if you just kill the supports on the other team. Now, yapping without a solution doesn't make this situation better, so I'm gonna offer some solutions to this problem, and if you guys have any other ideas, please let me know. I'd love to know what you guys think. Solution number one is obviously buff some support players to help them defend against dive characters more easily, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be something as simple as a team up between two strategists, which I think would add even more depth to the game because it adds another ban and another thing to worry about. Another solution is nerfing dive characters, which I don't think is the best solution because I think dive characters are fine how they are. The problem lies in the fact that support players are unable to deal with dive characters themselves, and depending on what rank you're in, it could be so much worse, which the rank system is a whole different problem, because as a support player, it is very difficult to rank up by solo queuing because it really relies on damage and kills to rank up. So I'm really hoping that in the future they can make a fair system to help support players rank up as well. Overall, I think the support strike is a good thing because it challenges people that usually play other roles to play strategist and realize how frustrating of a role it really can be. Anyone can agree getting targeted all game and getting jumped in the backline is not fun at all for anyone. And I don't think a lot of people realize that this does happen pretty much every single game. And everyone knows the easiest way to win is just to target support players. So with that being said, I really want to know how you guys feel about the support strike, if this strike has changed your mind about anything, and if my video has changed your mind about anything. Obviously, every role has its ups and downs. Every role has its difficulties. Overall, as a community, I think we need to stop calling certain roles easy and certain roles harder because we all contribute to winning the game. We all do something, no matter how big or small, and you might not realize it, but every single role is important.